Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gordon. We are back with another video. Today we're jumping in to talk about Solana and give you an updated price prediction video, so make sure you stick around until the end. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification icon. Don't forget to grab your completely free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin that is also linked in the description below this video. Make sure to grab that now, and let's talk about Solana. So jumping straight into the Solana chart, we're currently sitting at $211 per Solana token. As we can see, we've been putting in a really nice series of higher lows over the past few months with the technical price action for Solana. What I'm referring to there is by the time we came down to these lows at the beginning of April, we have put in this really nice series of higher lows all the way through over the past number of months. And what we're looking at here is a little bit of consolidation over the past few weeks between $195 and about $215. And what I'm hoping Solana can do is continue to power to the upside if Bitcoin is able to hold around these levels and continue moving higher as well. We are expecting rate cuts later here in September in a couple of weeks. And I think if we get that, Solana might have the ability to move beyond 215, 217 and push higher towards 230 and continue marching higher until this series of higher lows gets invalidated or until we breach this uptrend in. Things are looking pretty good for Solana over the next. From a macro perspective, we've obviously seen Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin as well. And we can see how some of that is starting to flow into Solana at this moment in time. So things are looking pretty good from a technical perspective on the charts here. The other chart I want to look at, well, there's a couple more we'll take a look at, but Solana dominance has also been marching to the upside here over the past number of weeks. Really since the beginning of August, we found some lows and some bottoms here around this kind of 2 to 2.3% area. We reclaimed the 200-day here by the time we got to the middle of August. And you can see how we've been pushing to the upside here. We're back above 3% at the time of recording this video. And this percentage move for Solana dominance, it's up 27.7% in the past month. That is what you want to see as we begin to see rotation out of Bitcoin into Ethereum and some of these larger caps. What Solana is beginning to do, not quite as strong as Ethereum just yet, but it's beginning to do what Ethereum started doing about 90 days ago. If I jump in and look at the ETH BTC chart, you can clearly see that pattern that we saw with ETH bottoming against Bitcoin back in May and then moving to the upside here over the past few months versus Bitcoin. I think Solana is starting to do that now with a little bit of capital rotation into Solana from both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Technically, we can see how Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin by 122% over the past 132 days. And if we bring up a Sol BTC chart, we're seeing that bounce starting to happen here really since the beginning of August on the Solana versus Bitcoin chart as well. And I think we've got more room to be coming back up into this area where we have prior resistance, which we'll look at in a moment. But this outperformance, reclaiming of the 200-day against Bitcoin, again, very similar to what we saw on the Sol dominance chart on the 10th of August, marching higher, consolidating here with a nice bull flag, breaking out of that and getting back up to this 0.05 area for Solana versus Bitcoin. This is pretty positive to see for any of you Solana bulls. Again, Bitcoin dominance may not be falling as sharply as we were for the past month or two, but I think we can see Solana consolidate in this area before moving higher. And zooming out here on the weekly, what I think we're likely to see as we move through the next few months is this now being put in as a kind of local double bottom here with this chart pattern, reclaiming the 200-day. I think it gives us permission to move back up to this particular level of resistance on the Sol BTC ratio chart, which essentially means we could see Solana marching higher here and outperforming Bitcoin by a further 25 to 30% over the next few months. Again, this would make sense if we see a continued breakdown in Bitcoin dominance, if we see further capital rotation from Bitcoin and Ethereum into Solana. It's going to give Solana permission to continue marching higher here, just like it's been doing since the end of July, beginning of August. increasing its ratio chart versus Bitcoin and increasing its dominance versus the rest of the market as well. We're going to jump into the price prediction in just a moment, guys, but I think it's important to understand and give context for Solana against Bitcoin, against Ethereum, and against the rest of the market when we really consider it as a top layer one protocol in the crypto space, a real contender for continued growth during this cycle. Again, jumping over here onto CoinMarketCap to check out some of the data, we're now up to about 541 million tokens in circulation. We have a fully diluted valuation of 129 billion, sitting at $212 price, as we said. And jumping back to CoinMarketCap, there is this constant back and forth battle between both Solana and BNB here to try and be the fourth largest crypto asset by overall market cap. You can see BNB sitting at 119 billion, Solana sitting at 115 billion. And again, depending on how much you want to read into the quote-unquote conspiracies with Binance, oftentimes Binance will flush or sell off a lot of Solana when Solana is about to threaten surpassing BNB in terms of overall market cap. But what I do think we will see is continued growth for both of these assets over the remainder of the rest of the cycle. So things are looking good for Solana at this moment in time, according to the price chart, according to the dominance chart, and according to Solana performance versus Bitcoin. The last chart I want to look at very quickly is Solana versus Ethereum here over the past number of weeks. Again, what we saw here over the past couple of years, really, this very strong uptrend. Let me go back to this chart here. This furious outperformance for Solana versus Ethereum going right back to June of 2023. We saw over 1,300% outperformance for Solana. That corrected here really since the beginning of Q2 this year as we went into April through to the present day. You can see how we were in a very strong downtrend, but that downtrend technically being broken out of at this moment in time over the past week or so with Solana versus Ethereum. Could we be about to move into another extended period of Solana outperformance here, similar to what we saw previously, where Sol now has permission to move higher against Ethereum because it's broken out of this downtrend? I think it bodes well given the dominance chart, the price chart, and the Sol Bitcoin chart that we were just looking at. And I would expect us to march up towards and at least retest this 200-day simple moving average somewhere around the 0.25 to 0.27 area. You can see we're currently sitting at 0.21 on that Sol ETH ratio chart. So plenty of room for us to move up and retest this 200-day simple moving average. I think that's what we're going to see over the next couple of months. Let's wait and see what happens. So jumping in, I have to caveat the price target prediction, guys. Remember, there are variables that we're plugging into this equation. I don't want to spoil the whole teaser here for all three of them. We have to think about the variables at play when it comes to making price targets. You have total crypto market cap, which is an unknown variable. We don't know where we're going to peak. We have Solana dominance, which has to increase in order for us to get to this price target I'm about to show you. And then just like we saw on CoinMarketCap, we've got 542 million Solana tokens in circulation at this moment in time. So we have to factor in those variables into our price prediction equation, remembering that total market cap for Solana divided by tokens in circulation gives us the price per token target. And so in my bear case, what I'm thinking is total crypto market cap could peak somewhere around $5 trillion US. If Solana can get up to 4.2% dominance, that's going to get us a $210 billion market cap for Solana, and dividing it by 542 million Solana tokens would bring us all the way to a $387 price target for Solana by the peak of the cycle. Remember, jumping back over to that Sol dominance chart, we're just after breaching above 3% again, but zooming out here, we were up pretty much just under 4% back at these January highs for the price of Solana. So what I'm suggesting is, if we can see dominance move back up to retest these previous highs and move a little bit higher up to 4.2%, I think that's doable for Solana in the bear case scenario. Next up, we've obviously got the base case. In the base case, what I'm thinking is total crypto market cap could peak closer to $7 trillion US. If Solana can get all the way up to 4.8% dominance, that's going to get us up to a $336 billion market cap for Solana specifically. Again, dividing it by 542 million Sol tokens brings us all the way to a $620 price target for Solana by the peak of the cycle in my base case scenario. Again, we have to think about how this number might grow with Sol tokens in circulation over the next few months. I will be monitoring that. Make sure to subscribe. We're going to be doing updates for our Solana price target over the coming months as we move into Q4. So make sure to subscribe down below for all of those updates, guys. And finally, last but definitely not least, the most bullish case scenario. What I'm thinking here is that total crypto market cap could peak closer to $9 trillion US dollars if Solana dominance can breach 5% and get all the way up to 5.4% dominance. That's going to get us to a market cap close to $486 billion. Dividing it by 542 million SOL, once again, gets us to an $897 price target for Solana by the peak of the cycle in my most bullish case scenario. Remember, what's happening here is base case is what I think is the most likely outcome. Again, based on all the variables I'm thinking about regarding total crypto market cap and Solana dominance, this is my most likely scenario to play out. Do the stars have to align a little bit for the bull case? Yes, of course they do. We need to see a bit more of a blow off top with total crypto market cap. We would need to see Solana substantially outperforming over the next few months. And so the stars would need to align a little bit, but I can definitely see a world where an $800 to $900 price target for Solana by the peak of the cycle is possible. If those stars align and we see lots of momentum for Solana, maybe a Solana ETF approval in the next couple of months as well, all of that could trigger a really nice rally for this asset, see it outperforming the rest of the market and moving much, much higher. That is it for today's video, guys. As always, if you got any value out of this updated price prediction video for Solana, make sure to smash that thumbs up button below. It's right below my finger. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you got some value. Drop a comment below as well. I want to know, where do you think the price of Solana is going to get to by the peak of the cycle? Let's drop your comments. Are you holding Solana? I want to hear from you in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification icon, grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin in the description, and we will catch you in the next one.